Welcome. My name is Jarrett Lau, and today's topic is all about vacancy, how to avoid vacancy, as well as how to use it to your advantage if you do find out you are going to have it. So the first thing about how to avoid vacancy, when I say this to all landlords, is try to avoid tenant at will situations. Tenant at will situations on a month to month. You'd rather have your tenants on a lease. And what a lease allows you to do is have a definitive lease end date, say August 31st, which is very common in Boston. That way you know in advance that you can start marketing the property, as well as getting it out to other real estate agencies to ensure that it's being shown, marketed well in advance. Personally, for property management, for our firm, we'll send out renewals up to 6 months in advance, depending upon the area. What that allows us to do is to make sure that we are giving ample marketing time to be able to take advantage of the market, the rents up higher. We send out our renewals in January 1st. We ask to hear back by January 15th. The tenants don't have to decide by then, but what it does allow us to do is put it on the market for other people to start showing it. And if the unit does get rented, the tenants can't renew. But if it doesn't, the tenants still have that option. But at least put the pressure onto the tenants rather than having you to wait 30 or 60 days in advance and hope that people are going to rent out the unit. What this does is ensure that you're not competing against everybody else who put their units on the market 30 to 60 days in advance. And in the city of Boston, at least, tenants are starting to look earlier and earlier every single year. So, in addition, even if you have a lease, you might still get a call from your tenant stating, hey, I'm going to break my lease. I need to move. I can't afford the place. I'm not getting along with the roommates. Well, what can you do in that situation? A few things you can do is put into your lease a lease break fee. That might deter them from having it. We charge up to a half month's rent for that. Another thing you can do is put stipulations into your lease in regards to you having the right to be able to approve any replacement tenants. That will put them through a process that that you'll have someone to take over their spot and of course pay rent should these tenants leave. And again, a worst case scenario is that a tenant just gets up and leaves and packs their bags. Hopefully you have a relationship that's good enough with the tenants for them to be able to communicate with you in advance so that doesn't happen. However, if it does, our next step is really talking about what happens or what you can do to take advantage of vacancy if you do have it. I know in the city of Boston that we typically have no vacancy. And that again comes from prior planning or just being able to know that our leases are strong enough to keep a tenant in place if necessary. But if we do have vacancy, we will a lot of times take advantage of that. And what we'll do is we'll go through the unit, determine what renovations can be done to increase rents. A lot of times our tenants will move in August 31st, move out August 31st, and then move a new set of tenants in September 1st. That doesn't give us any time to do any renovations. So if we do, we'll walk through, and most of the time we'll focus on the things that get us the most amount of money. That means kitchen and bath renovations, and honestly most of the cosmetic things such as paint on the walls, ceilings, as well as refinishing of hardwood floors. So what you'll do in advance if you do find out you'll have vacancy is talk to your general contractors or your handyman or the different vendors that you use to be able to just start getting quotes. Line them up well in advance. Let them know that you're going to have a vacancy, say December 1st. And these are the things that you're going to hope for them to be able to do. Find out if they have availability for them, if you need to put deposits down to be able to hold them to be able to do the work. Great. In a separate lesson, we'll kind of be going over how to plan a renovation job. But overall, just make sure you have your vendors lined up, know what's going to get you the biggest return on your investment, and just figure out what's the time frame that you have to be able to complete all these things, whether it's going to be painting or kitchen and bath renovation, or you might just keep it very simple and just refinish the floors, do a thorough cleaning, and see if anything's broken. Again, it all comes down to what your market allows for you to be able to get a higher rent for the renovations you get. So, the next thing is really just making sure that the tenants, if they're going to be breaking their lease, are keeping the place tidy and clean and saying good things about you. You want them, if they're trying to break a lease, to let them know that, hey, if an agent or a prospective tenant comes in, you want the place to look good. The easier it is to get it rented, the easier it is to get them off the hook and off of their lease. At the end of the day, timing is everything. We want to try to keep all vacancies down to a minimum. If you are going to have vacancies, try to do it when there's a lot of demand in your market. Also, try to find out as early as possible so you can start marketing the property nice and early. End of the day, vacancy is never a good thing, but if you do have it, try to plan for it in advance and try to take advantage of it by doing some renovations or repairs.